Uber Eats has Lola V products? I gotta remember that.
Well, you know, they say in order to remember something, you have to forget something else. Okay, now that is a very cute haircut. That's like a little shag. I've never seen it before.
Well, I mean, of course you have. It's the Rachel.
Oh, is that your name?
No, I mean, like, your name.
No, I'm Jen. My name's Jen.
Right, but I just mean, like, this is your haircut.
But that's hair on your head.
I'm not saying this is your hair.
Okay, freaking me out a little bit.
Have you ever gotten in a social media beef with somebody, or do you just like, if somebody is rude, you just ignore them?
Or I delete them.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Off the planet, or just always
off whatever Twitter or X is, right?
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, that's different.
Now, we were just talking with one of the Giants beat reporters, Dan Duggan, and I thought that it looked like maybe the Giants were about to make some defensive changes because they blitzed way more against Cleveland than they had the rest of the year. He seemed to think that that was just a product of what Cleveland allowed as opposed to a schematic change. Do you anticipate a lot of pressure or a lot of blitzing from the Giants tomorrow?
Well, if we're going to compare, how many sacks did the Cowboys have against the Browns?
Probably, I'm guessing a lot. 6?
A half dozen.
Okay.
6. So 6 and 8. So, and I don't think the Cowboys changed their scheme any, right?
Yeah.
They just had poor protection, if I remember correctly. At that time, both of their offensive tackles, starters were out. They were playing backups. The Cowboys actually, for the first half, stopped their running game, if you can believe that. So they were unleashing their pass rush. And that's one of the keys, or one of the Cowboys' attributes is their ability to rush the quarterback. But if you don't stop the run, then you're not going to have third and longs, right?
Yeah.
The Cowboys in these last 2 games on first downs, they've averaged giving up 7.5 yards per play. So what happens on second and third down, right?
Sure, yeah.
Well, the teams don't have to gain a whole lot of yards because they've already done 3/4 of the first down on first down. So from a Cowboys standpoint, they need to do a better job stopping the run and playing first down better than they have.
Yeah, that's what they got to do to stop that.
Fair.
On the other side, though, what was CeeDee Lamb's feeling, based on his emotions on the game? What was he feeling yesterday?
Yeah, I think he had calmed down. I think he had looked at it realistically. I think he was somewhat apologetic of his actions, how he acted, things he said, and knows that he's got to play better also on top of that. We can go through all the words and everything, but, don't fumble the ball. Don't drop a pass or two. Be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. I thought one of his best attributes of being a 88 that he wasn't a prima donna. It was kind of a normal room for the wide receivers that's not normal in the NFL. Those guys are always causing a scene, it seems like. And that was the kind of NFL wide receiver room the Cowboys had until he had this little fit in the game on Sunday. So I think he looked at it realistically and realized, well, whatever I was doing was not beneficial to not only myself, but the rest of the team.
I know, obviously, as you said, they played a not so great team last week in Cleveland, but Dexter Lawrence is an objectively excellent player. What kind of challenges does he bring to the table against the Cowboys?
I don't know, but somebody better go put an arm around Cooper Beebe, right?
Yep.
Yeah, right.
Hey, kid, get ready.
What a hell of a challenge for your 4th game.
As a center, not just 4th game in the NFL.
True.
But 4th game as a center, and you're going to have this 6'4", 340-pound guy standing right over you. They had, I was reading, they had kind of initially started him off kind of playing a 3 technique. Well, if you're playing a 3 technique, you leave yourself more susceptible to being double teamed, right? Well, they kind of moved him over. So even if they play, however they play their defense, 3 or 4 guys up front, they're moving him right over the center. And then said, okay. And I guess there was a scene last week where the Browns were still in the huddle, and he stood over the football. His hulking presence, okay, I'm ready for you when you guys want to come and play. And he says, oh, there was nothing to it. But I think there was something to it. He was trying to intimidate people. I mean, he leads them with 3 sacks, got 17 pressures, 12 quarterback hurries. So he's been pretty darn good, and the Cowboys are going to have to figure out how they're going to be able to handle him. And it can't be with BB and a fullback or a running back chipping him or, double teaming him. It's going to have to be two offensive linemen, which is going to create another problem on that front. So the Cowboys' offensive line is going to have its hands full, and not just pass protection, but run blocking. And that's been one of their weaknesses, I think, so far over these first three games. It's been the run blocking. I know the running backs get all the blame, but I bet there's a high percentage of hits at the line of scrimmage on these running backs, with the Cowboys struggling to be able to produce an effective running game.
Mickey, you were already starting a rookie opposite of Trayvon Diggs and Kalen Carson. What's the likelihood that he and maybe even Marquise Bell might not be available for this game?
Yeah, I mean, they're saying it's a game-time decision. I don't think either one has done much, if anything, these past two games in the walkthrough practices they've even had. Carson with a shoulder, Bell with an ankle. And that's pretty problematic because the next cornerback up would be Andrew Booth, and he's been inactive all three games. I think that if it's me, Trayvon Diggs is going to have to shadow Malik Neighbors. I don't think you're going to leave, Booth out there if it's Booth or even Caleb Carson, right? In too many one-on-one situations. And if you do, then you got to shadow with a safety and give those guys help because he's awfully, awfully darn good. I think I saw a note in the Giants release that his 23 catches over 3 games is the second most in the NFL to start a career. And the Cowboys know how good he is. I think Trayvon Diggs, get to work.
I don't know if you follow this kind of stuff, but if you do you enjoy when Bill Belichick talks about the Cowboys because then everyone can automatically assume that he's going to coach them next?
It's funny, right? Because how many other teams are in the league and how many other teams are ready to fire a head coach, right? But it's always he's going to the Cowboys, right?
That's right. And Mike McCarthy's at the top of the firing betting odds now.
Right,
I know you know that.
I saw that yesterday. Yeah. So it's great fodder, right?
Yes.
Helps you guys out too.
That's
believe
true.
it or not, right?
That's true.
That's a segment or two, right?
It's not what I want to talk about, but if I have to, I'm
Look, man, we get questions about it. I also sometimes don't want to talk about it.
And they want answers from you, too,
Yes,
by the way.
they do. All right. Speaking of answers, I know tomorrow's Thursday, but remember, Mick, be prepared with a prediction that is sure to be correct.
Well, since I'm like 1-2 right now, right there with the Cowboys, I don't know how much faith you'll have in me on getting that right.
It's a long season, Mick. We got plenty of time to be right and wrong.
Yeah,
because all you got to do is get one right, and then you're 2-2, right?
Exactly.
See, you get exactly how this game plan is going to work. All right, thank you very much, good sir. We'll catch up with you again tomorrow.
All right, great talking with you. See ya.
There you go. Mickey Spagnola right here on 105.3 The Fan. Now, this is just a side question that I was curious about, and we were going to talk about it Monday, Tuesday, but just things came up. Since they get compared a lot in terms of like people hating on them and stuff, who do you think is under more pressure to win the Super Bowl? Is it Dak or Lamar? Like we just saw both of them. Both of their teams are 1-2. Both have, Dak was second for MVP last year. Lamar was first.
Are you kidding me? I didn't know Dak was second for MVP last year.
You did
Nobody
too
said that.
know that. You hear that all the freaking time.
All right.
So I'm curious who you think has more pressure on them to win the Super Bowl because those are the two quarterbacks. And at times I feel like Josh Allen might kind of get in the mix, but those are the two quarterbacks that I think get like the most like social media hate or like media questions about, can they really do it?
This is very interesting because I think the pressure's uniquely different for both of them.
Fair.
There is no brighter spotlight than being the Cowboys quarterback.
Agreed.
And the Cowboys fans right now are as frustrated as ever. In Baltimore, I think they love Lamar, and they're like, this dude he's an MVP. We got that to hang our hats on.
How weird is that? Just to start, because I
might be wrong about that.
I don't think you are wrong. Is that they love Lamar, but here everyone's like, yeah, but you're not Aikman or Staubach or whatever.
Exactly, and you know why? Because the quarterbacks that have won in Baltimore weren't great quarterbacks. It was the defenses that carried those Baltimore teams to Super Bowls. Here, it's always been the star is the quarterback. He's the one that gets that limelight. I mean, Trent Dilfer won and Joe Flacco. They didn't even love Joe Flacco, all right?
True.
They were just like, I guess we got to deal with him. He's from Delaware. So that's where I think the spotlights are very different for these guys. So I think if you're saying internal pressure, I think it's the same for both of them and maybe even higher for Lamar because he does have the MVPs, but that's an individual statistic that doesn't get him the over the top thing. Dak is still in that got to prove it here. You got to prove other things. You haven't been MVP. You have the biggest contract, but have you really earned the biggest contract?
Right.
So that's where living up to the contract is now where Dak is. I hope he gets past that moment. I was thinking about this with Klay Thompson, and we'll at some point we'll talk about basketball. But Klay Thompson, how often do you see a guy go to a new team and then he's pressing to make shots, and a guy who's a really good 3-point shooter, but he's pressing so much that he feels like he's trying to live up to something, and then all the eyes are on him. Oh, Luka just passed me this ball, and I hope Klay doesn't have that.
Yeah.
But Dak, I wonder if there's a part of him that's like, man, I have to make these plays. We saw it with Marcus Simeon his first season. He wasn't living up to that contract initially, and we're like, what's going on here? I wonder if Dak's feeling a little bit of that right now, or if it's just they're just in a funk as a team.
So we get this text, and look, I am a huge Lamar Jackson fan, but we get this text from the 469. Lamar has won in the playoffs largely because of Lamar. Dak has not done that. All right, if you look at their playoff records, though, Dak is 2-5. Lamar Jackson is 2-4. I know Lamar Jackson got to the AFC Championship game, so it also matters when do those wins come along. Like, you look at Joe Flacco, everything else doesn't matter. He got to 4 wins when he needed it. But they have both struggled in the playoffs, and you can make a really strong argument. Last year, it was there for the taking for Baltimore, and they didn't get it done. So I know Lamar Jackson has been to the AFC Championship game. He went last year, but just that. Otherwise, like, their playoff records are pretty similar, but I do think that's also the perception is people like, Dak can't win in the playoffs. Lamar needs, he'll get it done someday, even though they've kind of hit the same roadblocks, which I also think is strange.
And I mean, and even still, Baltimore's identity does kind of fall on the defense, just because the culture of what it is their defense. They're going to be tough-nosed defense. The culture here is the star is the quarterback.
Yeah.
And that's where, like, if he's not doing it, then that's where the argument goes to first.
For the 469, I think Dak has more pressure because he doesn't have to go through Mahomes to get there like Lamar does. And
interesting.
That's a fair point, and that might be, I don't know how people feel. I don't know if people immediately dismiss playoff losses to, like, going back to Tom Brady or Joe Montana or now Patrick Mahomes. I have no idea, because you might be like, yeah, well, they were the favorites and they were at home and they lost. Or people are like, yeah, but they played Mahomes. Like, I don't know if people discount that. And then this is from the 214. I'm always curious about this as well. Lamar is a 2-time MVP. I could see that being spun either way in terms of, well, that obviously means he's better. But doesn't that also put more pressure on you as Dak finished second for MVP and he hasn't won a Super Bowl? Lamar has 2 MVPs and he hasn't won a Super Bowl. I would feel like that would put more pressure on Lamar to be like, hey, man, we gave you MVPs. Like, where's the Super Bowl?
I get it.
We're the KNC Masterpiece right here on 105.3 The Fan. Coming up next, it's time for My Buddy's an Idiot. Does your friend have a terrible sports or pop culture opinion? Or did they try to buy a documentary that was coming out today that was going to be negative about them?
I did not try to buy that.
Let us know. We'll do it next right here on The Fan.
If you're laughing,
Do you think it's true that you've got to forget something else to remember that Uber Eats has groceries?
Nah, that's absurd. Hey, remember when you used to be a, what was it, Pepper Lady? Pepper Lady?
Wasn't it Cinnamon Sisters?
Basil Babes.
Saffron Squad?
Nutmeg Maidens?
Pre-curve?
No,
Nutmeg Maiden.
I just said that. Was it Spice Girls?
Doesn't sound right.
Was it Saffron Squad?
comes out. The ball's out. BYU scoops. BYU scores.
Now, I understand you might be curious. Why are we playing a BYU football highlight? I guarantee you the payoff will intrigue you.
All right.
I can't say you like it, but it will intrigue you as we move in to My Buddy's an Idiot, 877-881-1053. Your friend have a terrible sports or pop culture opinion, or did they make one of the dumbest bets I've ever heard of?
Oh, I like this.
I take you to a diehard Kansas State football fan. On X, he is known as Saint Bill Snyder.
Hey, he used to coach Kansas State.
I'm pretty sure this is a different person, but to be fair, when they posted this last tweet that I'll update you with, they do have a Taco Bell bag over their head.
How do you know it's not Street Bill Snyder?
Because it says it's spelled out.
Okay, all right.
Fair. That's
All right.
a fair question.
Thank
It's
you.
spelled out. Now, I really hesitate to say this, and I really hope that you guys are all professional and don't mark this. But this fella declared before that Kansas State BYU game, if Kansas State loses to BYU, I will shove a beefy 5-layer burrito up my
Nose? Please say nose.
butt.
It's not going to... It's not going to work. It won't work.
Well,
It's impossible.
you have the opportunity to find out.
No, I don't.
Okay, you do. You don't have to take the opportunity. I'm saying you have the opportunity this Saturday. What an intriguing post this is. Now, on the first post, he had the Taco Bell bag over his face and the burrito. This time, it's just the burrito. And it says Saturday, September 28th. That's this Saturday.
That is this Saturday.
I pay the bet, 9:30 p.m. It just means more. Hashtag Big 12 football.
Okay, hold on. It just means more. I love that line. Alec just mentioned moments ago.
Oh, then they pop up with the Taco Bell bag on their head.
Alec mentioned moments ago that the best publicity that Netflix could have possibly asked for was Vince McMahon saying that, hey, don't watch this,
Oh my
this
God,
Netflix
yes.
or watch it with an open mind because I'm a villain. You hate this villain.
Yes.
Watch it. This dude is like, he's trying to get publicity for his YouTube page or whatever, right? Like, that's all this is.
Look.
He's not really going to do this. Nobody's watching this.
Oh my God, you're insane.
Oh, you know what? Somebody just said freeze the burrito and it works. I guess that's true.
Holy moly.
Ouch.
By the way, this person does love Kansas State football. On their Twitter profile, it says the Miracle in Manhattan and Pop-Tart Bowl champions of the world. So they are... It also, there's a lot happening on this main page. It also says hashtag Christ is Lord and hashtag John 3:16. I'm not saying you can't believe that and do that with the burrito. It's just a weird combination.
Do you have to oil up that burrito first?
Yeah, that's what The Rock taught me.
I'm sorry, what?
He goes, you turn that sumbitch sideways, oil it up, and then you stick it straight up your candy ass. That is what The Rock taught me. And so I don't know if he's going to follow that exact line of thinking. But Corey, when you said no one's going to watch this, 15,000 people like the original bet text or tweet, and now 12,000 people have
commented,
liked the bet payoff tease.
Oh my
and
gosh.
900 people have it bookmarked. So
Oh
they
my
can remember
gosh.
to go
Sickos.
back and see it happen. Now,
Dude, he should sell tickets for this thing on his page. Just be like, hey,
cash app
I have
me.
this many available tickets. Otherwise, you won't be able to watch it. You have to register to vote. Otherwise, you can't vote if you're not registered.
Yeah. Man, I have a question about, wasn't one of the faces of the Vote or Die campaign that person who looks like they're probably going to go to jail for
Let me
the
go
rest
look.
of their life? I feel like...
Vote or Die campaign.
Yeah, I feel like it was. So hopefully.
Oh, crap, yeah.
Yeah.
Diddy is in jail.
I thought that
Diddy's in a lot of trouble.
No, I knew that
so
part.
Kevin's saying because of what Diddy's going through, don't vote.
No, you should definitely vote.
Okay. And you could end up in prison.
No, that's not why he's in prison right now. The
If you vote
allegations
wrong,
are very,
no.
very different than that.
If you vote wrong, you could go to prison, is what you're saying.
No, well, look, I'm not going to pretend that no politician has ever said that. I do not believe that. Now, you were talking about, come on, Kevin, you're doing the most. This is Masterpiece of the Week. I'm just telling you the story. All right. Now, we talked about the Vince McMahon documentary, and you just referenced how he put a statement out as like, this is not good. I don't approve.
And now everybody's going to watch it.
Hell yeah.
Because of that.
Here's why I'm going to watch it even more. I believe it was Matthew Bologna from, maybe it's Bologna.
It's Bolognese. Matthew Bologna.
I'm sure it is Bologna.
He's full of it.
Thanks for the dinner idea.
It's Belloni. I don't know why I said it like that. It's probably Bologna. I'm sorry.
That's not how you spell bologna, Kevin.
I know.
Bologna.
Yes.
Bologna.
He has a What I'm Hearing column, and he said that after initially signing off on the project, Vince McMahon went back to Netflix and tried to purchase the project back.
What?
After he agreed to do it.
This is great.
am dying to watch this documentary. It dropped this morning. I haven't had a chance to watch it. I'm going to watch at least some of it after work, but that is amazing. So don't watch it. It's bad. Also, I probably tried to buy it back from Netflix.
Yeah, and somebody's asked if I think everything's a joke. Yeah, I do. Everything is funny to me. So
okay.
Sorry.
I'll not be funny. Actually, my next
Corey,
one is,
you be quiet.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike.
This next one actually is not a funny situation.
All right.
Have you seen the latest about, you remember Dan Campbell? The news came out that he was going to move.
Yes.
Because of fans and everything. So then it came out that Dan Campbell was allegedly doxxed by his daughter's classmate after the NFC Championship game last year.
Yes, I did see this.
That's crazy. And it kind of started in Snapchat with the accompanying text of dumb F trying to go for it, and then put his address on there. You got to the NFC Championship game for the first time in, 32 years? And your response to that is, well, first of all, your response to anything shouldn't be, I'm going to dox that person.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what that means
I just looked it up.
Yeah, revealing somebody's address, and then people will argue about what is supposed to happen after that. But
the word doesn't make sense to me, honestly. Like, where's it come from? What's the
probably should
root
have
word
an answer
of it?
for you. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's all good. It's all good. You did a really good job of explaining it, though, and I appreciate that. Yeah, man. I don't appreciate that. I don't think it's cool at all to do something like that, especially like you said. Your coach just got you as far as you've been in a long time.
Yeah.
You look like you're having a promising future with not only the coach who's instilled toughness and legitimacy to your franchise for the first time in a long time, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to go out there and put them on blast. Not cool.
It's a weird bit. From the 214, my buddy's an idiot. He keeps stating that Anthony Richardson is going to turn it around. I'm willing to give him more leeway than like Bryce Young, just because he's looked better at times and injuries have kept him from playing as many games. I'm not saying he's going to turn it around, but I think he's got a better shot than Bryce Young, right?
I don't know. Maybe Bryce Young can turn it around, though, too. You know,
what team will he be on then?
I mean, did you not see him high-fiving all of his teammates after their win? He stood there and waited for them all to come out because he was like, look, I'm not good enough yet, but maybe one day I will be, Kevin.
I mean,
that's what Bryce Young was saying.
It could happen. From the YouTube, my buddy's an idiot. He calls the Cowboys America's team.
I mean, that's their moniker.
And if you look at popularity by pretty much every metric, they are America's team. Now, that's what...
Doesn't mean America loves them.
No. Oh, my gosh. No. There's as many people, probably not as many people, but a lot of people who watch them to hate watch them. And that has nothing to do with them winning. Like, that's just about popularity and visibility. If it was about winning, then it would have gone to the Patriots and now the Chiefs, and that would have been.
And that was also dubbed in the 70s, the 60s.
I think it was the 70s.
It was when that was all created. So it's just been something that's stuck with them since then. I mean, just like the Steel Curtain is stuck with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Although that being said, they have continued it for that entire time.
Now, is this what you want to hear from your coach, or is Hugh Freeze an idiot? They lost to Arkansas, and he went ahead and made the statement afterwards. Now, this is always a good start. Quote, "I mean no offense to Arkansas." I'm going to go back to this again. If you start a sentence with "I mean no offense to whoever,"
usually it's going to be offensive to somebody.
And you should probably just stop.
Yeah.
You should probably just be like, you know what? Never mind. I mean no offense to Arkansas. I love Sam Pittman. I hope he wins the rest of the games. But the hard truth is, if we played them 9 more times, we would beat them 9 more times. Do you want to hear that from your coach, or do you want your coach to shut the hell up?
Hold on, they already lost?
Yeah, they lost at home.
So no, I don't want to hear it. If we've won, I want to hear it. Sure. Or if we're going into the game and we're looking to win, then I want my coach to be like, look, guys, we're going to beat them every time. I'm confident in it. Here's why. I don't want to hear, hey, look, we just ran out of time, and if we had more games against these guys, we could have done it. That doesn't make me feel good at all. I'd say, shut up, coach. I wouldn't say it to him because, I'd probably leave him a note and be like, hey, coach, don't say that anymore.
Sure.
Come on.
You're
putting a mark on us.
From the 214, guys, my buddy's an idiot. We're at work, and he's literally blasting Diddy songs in the office next to me. Like, why? That is odd timing. Like, if that's been happening for, I don't know,
ages,
8 years,
yeah,
and you're just like, oh, he's a fan. If you just started now, that's an odd time to take up that campaign, right?
Mm-hmm. From the 469, I don't want to be offensive to your show, but I will say that it's pretty great.
Oh.
So that was not offensive at all.
That's a good point.
We've continued to win. I appreciate that. Thank you, because of you. You're the reason why.
That's true. From the 432, my buddy, being me, is an idiot for drafting the Cowboys defense thinking I'd get 20-plus points a week with them. Look, the last couple of weeks they've been tough.
I thought the same thing. I thought this was going to be a very good defense, and so far they have not acclimated to what Mike Zimmer's asking of them.
Yeah.
They're not very advanced in what they're doing, and they can't find ways to be more physical than their opponent. Maybe it's because they're not playing fast. Maybe that it's too complicated, too complex. Zimmer has to dumb it down just a little bit so they can play fast, but they don't look like a very physical team that's capable of blowing through the offensive lines.
All right. We did get some clarification, too, about the origination of docs. Now, it's from dropping documents or docs, D-O-C. And then, obviously, it's changed. We'll get into that later along the way. But, yeah, that's originally what it came from.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Because of documents as in DOC, the shortening for that. Very interesting.
The DOC.
We're the KNC Masterpiece right here on 105.3 The Fan. Coming up next, it's time for Gridiron Gravy. Let's power rank the quarterback power rankings. Next on The Fan.
Coming up in the next G-Bag Nation.
States has Lola V products? I gotta remember that.
You know, they say in order to remember something, you have to forget something else. Okay, now that is a very cute haircut. That's like a little shag. I've never seen it before.
Well, I mean, of course you have. It's the Rachel.
Oh, is that your name?
No, I mean, like your name.
No, I'm Jen. My name's Jen.
Right, but I just mean like this is your haircut.
But that's hair on your head.
I'm not saying this is your hair.
Okay.
Listening special this Sunday on 105.3 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
This segment is brought to you by Classic Chevrolet in Grapevine. They're the #1 Chevy dealer in the world. More Silverados than anyone else. This is Texas. This is Classic Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Based on new Chevy registrations, 2023.
Sprints in motion to the right flat. Mahomes will throw it right sideline, wide open with the catch. Xavier Worthy, 10-5, touchdown, Kansas City.
KNC Masterpiece right here on 105.3 The Fan. Just a reminder for anyone who's concerned about the game tomorrow being on Prime, you can always listen to it right here on 105.3 The Fan. Right now, let's say we go around the entire NFL and dip into some gridiron gravy.
Here we go.
I know I shouldn't care about this, but I do. Brandon Aubrey has yet again been snubbed as the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week.
How?
He kicked a ho-hum 51-yard field goal.
Yep.
Then he kicked a 65-yard field goal, which is the second longest in the history of the NFL in a regular season game.
Think he could have kicked 67 if he needed to?
Hell yeah, he could have.
That kick specifically, I think 67 would have been the max.
Okay.
I think that would have been it.
Instead, Jack Fox, the punter, won the award. He punted the ball 5 times, had 4 of them down inside the 20, 3 inside the 10, and 1 inside the 5. That is objectively very impressive. But here's what I'm going to bring up to you. I know it's only been 3 weeks, and I know poor clock management messed up one of them. But that means Brandon Aubrey should have tied the all-time field goal record for longest field goal and had 3rd place behind himself and the other person he is tied with. I believe it's Justin Tucker. And he has won 0 Special Teams Player of the Week awards. I know it's probably not that big of a deal, and I should just get over it, but that's weird to me.
Kevin, I would much rather Dak win all the Offensive Player of the Week awards.
Okay.
Than be concerned about Brandon Aubrey winning Special Teams Player.
You are not going to like the next thing I was going to bring up then.
Dak is winning this week?
Dak did not win NFC Offensive Player of the Week. Jaden Daniels did for the Washington Commanders after he went 21 of 23, which is incredible.
Yeah.
For 254 yards, a pair of touchdowns, no interceptions. He also ran for 39 yards and a touchdown in their upset road victory over the Bengals.
You know, at the time, he was 20 of 22 whenever he threw the big touchdown to McLaurin. And
what a throw.
I was thinking to myself, because I think that was that 3rd down? I was thinking to myself in that moment, dude, he's going to complete this pass. He's been this good all night. He's going to complete this pass. I didn't expect it to be that pass, though. I just didn't. I thought it would be a slant across the middle. I thought it would be something that would pick up a 1st down. I did not expect it to be that. Dude, he was fun in that game. Let's see if he can continue doing it consistently now.
The 91.3 completion percentage rate, of course, the highest in an NFL game by a rookie ever. But where does he sit in the quarterback rankings? Let's start with the worst starting quarterback. This one is unfair. I do not believe you will guess number 32. But if you want to give it a shot, knock yourself out. I think that this is unfair and not probable to be guessed correct.
Thinking.
Okay.
Alec, do you have an answer?
You might need to help him.
Sean Clifford.
Oh, nice. Good job.
No.
Nailed it.
You did not. No. Incorrect.
Dang it.
Number 32 is Tim Boyle.
Okay.
You might be thinking, who the hell is Tim Boyle?
Susan's brother.
He was the quarterback for the Chiefs for a little spell, and I think he played at Alabama.
I don't know about any of that. Tim Boyle, maybe he did. Tim Boyle is who CBS thinks is going to start in place of Skylar Thompson, who is already starting in place of Tua because Skylar is banged up.
Kevin, he never played for the Chiefs.
Okay.
He also played at UConn and Eastern
That's
Kentucky.
what I said. I have no idea if that is factually accurate. Tyler Huntley is the other option. That feels unfair.
All right.
After that, Jacoby Brissett, Bo Nix, and I think this is also unfair. Malik Willis is 29th. Malik Willis got called in and has won both of his games. That is too low.
He's really good, though.
I'm not saying he should be like a lot higher than that.
And he didn't throw the throw-up ball.
Shouldn't he be higher than Will Levis? Will Levis
Yes.
is 25.
Will
Get
Levis
the F
is
out of
terrible.
here.
He's awful at football.
All right. Who is, right now, the number 1 quarterback in the NFL?
Josh Allen.
That is correct. Alec, a lot of pressure on you to get number 2 correct, since it's common sense.
Yeah.
And Corey got number 1.
Who's your number 2?
This is really tough. Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. Let me ask you a question.
Is he better than Trevor Lawrence? Currently.
Yes. Yes, definitely. For Peace-a-thon, do you think it would be confusing if we had an autographed jersey by like actual Patrick Mahomes, and then we had another Mahomes Chiefs jersey signed by Patrick Mahomes Sr. that says, "Who's your daddy?" on it, Would that be confusing in the marketplace? Because
Yes.
I am going to have both of those items.
Yes. that would
Okay.
be.
All right. Well, I'll work on something different then.
By the way, Kevin, somebody texted it in. It was Crody Broil. Crody Boyle.
Brody Coyle?
The Crody Broil. Yeah, something like that. Brody
don't
Coyle.
think you're
Brody
saying-
Coyle. Brody
Saying that
Coyle.
right.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of.
We got there
Bama in
eventually.
chief.
Yeah. Good job. All right. The rest of the top 5. Lamar Jackson, Brock Purdy, and C.J. Stroud. So those are your top 5 quarterbacks per CBS.
Where'd you say Sam Darnold was?
I have not gotten to Sam
This is
Darnold yet.
ridiculous. Here I am pulling for Sam Darnold. That's what's ridiculous. about
Sam
it.
Darnold
Give the man his respect.
is number 10. Is Dak Prescott higher or lower than Sam Darnold? Per
Lower.
CBS, not me.
Lower because Andy Dalton should be number 9 at least.
Oh, man. Andy Dalton is number 21.
Did you not see? He got
I
a
did.
win for the
I
Panthers.
know. All right. Geno Smith is 11.
All right.
Should Dak Prescott be higher or lower than
Lower.
Geno? Okay. How much lower?
2. 13.
Aaron Rodgers is number 12. Dak Prescott is, in fact, number 13 on the board.
This doesn't get me going.
Okay, Mike, I actually don't believe you about that. So the top 5, Josh Allen, Mahomes, Jackson, Purdy, Stroud. 6 through 10, Joe Burrow, Stafford, Herbert, Hurts, that's absurd. Sam Darnold, and then Geno Smith, Aaron Rodgers, and Dak Prescott is 13 on this list. Do you think that is fair?
I do.
Okay.
The offense has not been productive.
True.
The best part of his last 2 games was the last play, or the last couple of drives in the fourth quarter. That was it.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's been pretty bad. So, I mean, again, there are, for anybody that's out there going, you can't blame it all on Dak. I agree. There's a lot of factors that go into how poorly they're playing right now. But as a quarterback, his ranking does not put him any higher than where he is right now.
Now, a couple of notes for you from this past weekend, or I guess looking forward. For the Green Bay Packers, they already have 7 interceptions this season. That's how many they had last season. So that is a pretty freaking
That's awesome
encouraging
for them.
number for the Green Bay Packers. The Steelers, you talked about the Steel Curtain earlier. They became the first team in 15 years to give up 10 or fewer points in each of their first 3 games.
Okay.
And they're going to need it.
Yeah,
Look,
they
I
are.
like Justin Fields, but that offense is not going to make that team go.
I agree they're going to need it. I also agree that the more opportunities and reps Fields gets with this team and the more comfortable he feels, the better he's going to look. If that defense continues to do that, they'll find ways to win games because that's what Mike Tomlin does. And that Packers defense, we all should have been aware that they were going to be pretty good this year. The way that they're playing, the effort they're giving, they've lined that one up really nice.
Now, we've talked a lot about Caleb Williams and then Rome Odunze. They made history this past weekend. They became the first quarterback and wide receiver, both selected in the top 10 by the same team, to complete a touchdown pass in their rookie year.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is nifty. I like it.
Who gets the ball?
I mean, they have to cut the ball in half.
Oh, no.
Or they have to play tug of war for
What
it.
if they're about to cut the ball in half and Caleb says, please don't do that. I would rather the ball go to Rome and stay intact.
Then Rome gets the ball. Caleb said he should have it.
Okay. So you wouldn't give it to
Caleb. Rome
wouldn't
didn't.
get it-
Rome
Caleb in
didn't
that
say, "Hey, like we have to cut it in half." He was told they have to cut it in half, and then the other one said, "Give it to him instead."
Okay. For people that were curious, Josh Allen was the AFC Offensive Player of the Week. This is the 13th.
He's good.
This is the 13th time that he has won that award.
Right now, everybody that was on, "Hey, Josh Allen's the worst last year," is going, "Oh man, I guess I got to shut up for a while," because it is his show and his team's playing at their best at the moment.
Yes.
Against bad teams, but still at their best.
Is this the attitude you want? Maybe not for fantasy football owners, but like if you're just a fan of the Chiefs. Travis Kelce said, "I'm worried about winning, not the catches and the yards." Should I assume as a Chiefs fan, you're like, hell yeah. As a fantasy owner who might have taken him high, you
I hate it.
Okay.
I hate it.
Is he on your team?
He is on my team.
Oh, no.
And I'm not saying that I did it for Adrian so that she could root for them and everything, and her coach Andy that she's always talking
But
about.
You did not do it for her.
I did not do it for her. I did it because I thought he would be awesome. That being said, I will be patient, and I think that when it counts, Mahomes will find him. Whenever they get into the big games and they need to make plays, Mahomes will be there. Or Kelsey and Mahomes will be there. That being said, if they decide just to double team Kelsey all season, then these other guys better go nuts.
Yeah.
Rashee Rice and Worthy and Watson, all those guys better go crazy.
And by the way, since people were asking about Austin Eckler yesterday, I think he's gone back to Virginia to get treated for a concussion. So obviously you never like to hear that. We're the KNC Masterpiece right here on 105.3 The Fan. Coming up next, what are the top 3 Cowboys on-field problems right now? 877-881-1053. Hit us up there, or the Twitch, or the YouTube. We'll do it next right here on The Fan.
You've made us number 1 in D.
Do you think it's true that you've got to forget something else to remember that Uber Eats has groceries?
No, that's absurd. Hey, remember when you used to be Pepper Lady? Pepper Lady?
Wasn't it Cinnamon Sisters?
Basil Babes.
Saffron Squad?
Nutmeg Maidens?
Paprika?
No,
Nutmeg Maidens?
I just said that. Was it Spice Girls?
Doesn't sound right.
Was it Saffron Squad?
1 Dallas-Fort Worth. Let's go, Cowboys.
An Odyssey sports station.
From our Highly Mazda of Arlington and Hearst studios, it's the KNC Masterpiece on 105.3 The Fan.
KNC Masterpiece right here on 105.3 The Fan, home of the We Love Carter Freeman fan club. Right now, we're going to talk about the Cowboys. And I wanted to specifically kind of make this about only on-field stuff, because I get it if it's like top 3 Cowboys problems, as people are gonna be like Jerry, Steven, like, you know. So what are the top 3 Cowboys on-field problems right now? I can start this off. We can go back and forth. We can go to the text. What are you thinking, Corey?
Go ahead, give your 3, Kevin.
All right,
and I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Oh no,
I'm just joking. That you might nail it.
Whew, that's a lot of pressure. Number 1, rushing defense.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, and we can elaborate on all these things. Number 2, rushing offense.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, who plays offense besides CeeDee Lamb?
Yep.
Now, the rushing defense, we've kind of hammered this into the ground. It's only been 3 games, and the Cowboys have already given up 16 runs of 10 yards or more. That is astonishing. Now, on the rushing offense side, I know that Steven and Jerry, to a certain extent, have talked about situational football, and that's why maybe they haven't run the ball quite as much. So let's examine that a little bit more. They're only 30th in rushing yards. The problem is they're also 29th in yards per carry. So, like, if they were, I don't know, 14, 15 in yards per carry, I'd be like, oh, yeah, you know, they're average. Maybe he's got a point. But no, they're pretty much at the bottom in yards per carry as well. And then for the last one, who plays offense besides CD? We've talked about this. We talked about it last week, so we're going to talk about it again. Who on this offense can generate explosive plays for you, either running or catching, besides CeeDee Lamb, because that has been a struggle.
What's the difference from the 3 things you just said from what we talked about the entire offseason? Nothing.
Yeah.
All 3 of the things that you just said, we discussed all offseason that were problems and that were going to continue to be problems.
I was really hoping Cooks was going to be a solution to number 3, but you're right.
Like that's what the most frustrating part is. At your own home, you identify any problems in your house and you fix them. If there's something that you're like, you know what, we can fix that later, it's the least of my problems, but these are the serious ones, you fix them immediately. And the Cowboys knew this, or what I'm most afraid of, didn't know it. I feel like they did. They just turned a blind eye to it.
Yeah.
And said, we'll fix that later. I feel like they knew their defensive tackles weren't any good because during training camp, they added more defensive tackles. The entire offense has been kind of that way, but they didn't address that in any way either. They said, we'll draft rookies and we'll add to that. Brandon Cooks is going to be better. That's frustrating.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, whenever I look at that, the 3 things that you just said are all 3 things that we identified in the offseason, and we expected them to address them.
So I did not embarrass you?
No.
Okay.
When Jerry Jones said all in, that's where we were like, okay, he's going to address all 3 of the problems that are killing this team in the playoffs. Yes. But stopping the run in the playoffs is one of the biggest deals. And it's been how many years now?
Oh, my gosh.
In the playoffs, you've been like, you can't stop the run, so you stink.
All those 12-win seasons have been kind of like that. Right?
And somebody said, that's bold of Corey to assume I care about my home. Okay, you know what? If you don't, then you're in the same bag as Jerry. Not your real home. Just saying, if the Cowboys are your home, you didn't care about them because you didn't identify them and fix them.
Holy moly. All right. I like it. From the 405. Top 3 issues with Cowboys on the field. Run offense, run defense, and there doesn't seem to be any continuity on both sides of the ball. You know what I think about when that gets brought up? I think about what you were saying about the end of the quarter and making a note in this last game against the Ravens. Cowboys have momentum. Then you hit the quarter and you wrote down, I bet they're going to lose.
Yeah.
And then that's exactly what happened.
The fumble, it's always something like that. You know what? If it hadn't been that fumble, Kevin, it would have been an offside or a penalty. It would have been a false start.
Something.
It would have been something that would have screwed everything up. So that's just they're not focused.
This one is interesting. They started off by saying Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe have not been upgrades over the status quo thus far. And that's the tough thing, because when you look for improvement, and when the Cowboys say they like their personnel, I'm far more interested in that when it comes to Guyton, Beebe, Carson, Overshown, like people who they haven't like really played a whole lot of football, if any professional football. And so I'm interested in the upside for them. But thus far, it's only been 3 games. But yeah, I think it's fair to say you'd want more from your offensive line.
From the, man, that went really fast. From the 214, maybe it's not Cooks, but it's the QB. I'm going to disagree with you here. And the reason being, he threw a touchdown pass to Jalen Tolbert.
Yes.
He completed passes to multiple receivers throughout the game. Jake Ferguson had 95 yards, led your receiving group. In this game, Brandon Cooks had the lowest separation yards of all of the NFL. And you can, again, I will give some of the credit to Baltimore.
Sure.
The other part of it is how are you getting your separation here? So that's where I'm trying to figure out exactly where that blame goes, but I don't think it's Dak as much. There's a lot going on there, but hey, Dak deserves his blame as fairly as well.
Exactly. I don't think it's for that. From the 214, I think coaching is acceptable. That's on the field. Run defense, run offense, coaching is number 3. And you see the same thing come up again and again. Like you've already seen it. These texts are flying in really quickly. But run offense and run defense are unquestionably running away with the top 2 spots. It seems like mostly only the 3rd spot is kind of what's sort of up for grabs for people.
Okay, yeah, because mine's going to be different than yours.
Okay. But you said I did not embarrass you with my list.
Nope, that was good. I'm not embarrassed. Number 1, stopping the run. Number 2, stopping the run. Number 3, stopping the run.
Oh.
If you stop the run, actually, I have a different list here, but if you stop the run, that's how serious I am about this part of it.
Sure.
It changes everything for this team. All right, if you stop the run, then teams aren't gashing you on 3rd down with whatever they want to do, and so you can get stops. And then on the other side, you're not trying to play catch up 14 points down because you can't stop the run. So the run is setting up big plays downfield too. Everything that the opponents are doing revolves around the Cowboys stopping the run. And then again, on the flip side, it's affecting your offense because your offense is having to chase and score points in a small amount of time because, hey man, that team just took 9 plays and 8 minutes off of your game, and now you better go score those points really quickly. So stopping the run is number 1 for me. Number 2, offensive separation.
Yeah.
And then number 3, Kevin, I'm with Broadus and Bobby. Your first 15 is terrible. Whatever you're doing right now, you got the ball. Everybody in the NFL scripts their first 15 plays. Why? So that they can score and get points on the board. They haven't been able to do that. So whoever's drawing those up, whoever's executing those, they're doing it poorly. And that's where I think they need to be better at that right now.
Can I make an argument for what I think could be happening in there disproportionately to the rest of the offensive game? And it just makes sense because of it's early in the game. I think they're running the ball more in that first 15 plays than they are proportionately to the rest of the game. And I think that's a problem. I understand.
A little bit of it has to do with the fact that after those first 15, they're down and they're trying to chase.
Agreed.
But you are right. Bobby talked about that this morning. The number is drastically in favor of running, and then after the first 15, drastically in favor of throwing.
And that's an issue in terms of, I understand the logic will be, hey, we're breaking in like 40% new components to your offensive line. If you don't run the ball, how are you going to get a better feel for how those run gaps and those run blocks look in actual practice?
Your kid is tall enough to see in the window now, Kevin.
This
is the first time I've ever seen him actually peeking over the wall to see us in the window.
And so I think that's an issue because, quite frankly, this early in the season, I look at it and I'm like, hey, if you don't do it well, let's not try to fix it in our first 15. Fix it in practice. And if you don't, you should be able to look at that and be like, well, that still doesn't look very good. Let's throw the damn ball.
I am I'm not doing this to combat Bobby's theory. And Broadus brought this theory to us first. That's why Bobby went and looked up the numbers on it for this year. But I am going to try to do it to compliment him, to compliment Bobby's research. Tonight I'm going to go home and I'm going to go through last year's games and see what their first 15 looked like and see how much was run, how much was passed. And then whenever the offense got good, it was about game 6, they started scoring early in the game better. I want to go see where they were in that. If it changed, if McCarthy said, you know what, I'm changing this up a little bit. And I want to know, I'd love to know from McCarthy if he's like, yeah, I play a little poker here and there. Sometimes I fold them to set somebody up later down the road. I don't know if that's true, but I want to see if he's looking at the season in a different way.
Would you make an argument that separation is also an issue on the defensive side because you're not getting enough of it from your wide receivers, and it feels like you're seeing way too much of it in your secondary? Because somebody brought up secondary. I think that is a totally fair point. There has been some shocking separation for other receivers.
Oh, yeah. Chris Olave's big wide open play, the play that Baltimore makes to get the third down that iced the game.
Yes.
That was a big, there was too much space between Diggs and the receiver on that. Somebody said, when are you guys going to admit it that you just suck? I disagree with Jerry Jones when he says, I think that we have the personnel to do it. I think there are spots on this team that are still missing the personnel. And if you heard Brad Sham and you heard the Cowboys post-game show, which you should listen to it, you should hear the pregame show tomorrow night and the post-game show right here on 105.3 The Fan. They started questioning, maybe they're just not good enough. And Brad Sham brought that to the table. So did Broadus. The question, maybe they're just not good enough at a lot of these positions to compete with these really good teams. And that's where Jerry and the front office and the scouting department have to really be aggressive towards themselves when they look in the mirror, as they say.
Yeah, look, I'll be very clear. If they lose to the Giants, I've already told you what I think is going to happen in that game. And if they lose to the Giants, I think that makes everything in front of you very, very clear. You don't have the personnel, and whether you want to use some of your $24 to $25 million in cap space to make something happen, whether you want to use draft picks to make it happen, whether you want to move on from certain personnel or coaches, I think that's your answer. If the Cowboys lose tomorrow night, I'm not going to come back here on Friday while we're going to be at Buffalo Wild Wings in Mesquite. I'm not going to be like, hey, you know what, guys? Everything is going to be okay. I'm going to be like, I think the Giants are not a good team yet.
It's time to demand answers.
And you just lost to them after getting essentially smoked.
But if the Cowboys win, they're going to the Super Bowl.
I'm not going to say that either.
Oh.
Okay, you can say that. I'm just saying.
I'm not going to bet you because you're the one, you could change your mind. You're the one that controls that part of it. So you control what you say.
Okay.
Not Jerry Jones.
Oh my God, that's true. If it weren't true, then would we be having backpedaling salary cap discussions with Stephen Jones? Would we? I don't think so.
I would be a lot richer because I would demand a lot more money from them to say things nice about them.
You'd be so.
You live in Plano.
Rich.
Look,
how much richer
I still
do you
have
need
bills.
To be? Sounds like more. We're the KNC Masterpiece right here on 105.3 The Fan. Coming up next, we move into the Expressway where we'll get some AM on the FM and also talk with Texas Rangers manager Bruce Bochy. All of it next right here on The Fan.
Are you ready for some commercial-free KNC Masterpiece?
Yes, of course.
It's happening next, all the way until 1, right here on The Fan and the Odyssey app.
This Friday, we're going to Mesquite, Buffalo Wild Wings.
Uber Eats has Lola V products? I gotta remember that.
Well, you know, they say in order to remember something, you have to forget something else. Okay, now that is a very cute haircut. That's like a little shag. I've never seen it before.
Well, I mean, of course you have. It's the Rachel.
Oh, is that your name?
No, I mean, like, your name.
No, I'm Jen. My name's Jen.
Right, but I just mean, like, this is your haircut.
But that's hair on your head.
I'm not saying this is your hair.
Okay, great.
Hustle up your favorite people for the State Fair of Texas. With so many fun and tasty experiences, it's the most Texan place on earth. September 27th through October 20th. Get your tickets at bigtex.com.
And the Expressway on 105.3 The Fan is presented by the On Time Experts.
KNC Masterpiece right here on 105.3 The Fan. And you know, if you're looking to spice up your game day grub, you should reach for the original Louisiana brand hot sauce, the official hot sauce of the Texas Rangers. The original Louisiana brand hot sauce flavor favors the bold. It also brings to you our interview with Texas Rangers manager Bruce Bochy. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys. How's it going?
It's going well. It's going pretty well. Now, one of the things everybody loves about you is you just gave such insightful answers to so many things. And I was curious, you talked about the disappointment and how tough it is to see other teams clinch playoff spots. So I'm curious, is it tough to get everyone fired up or even get yourself fired up for the last handful of games this season?
It really has not been. I mean, you would think it would be. And I think these guys have done a good job of getting themselves up. You know, we keep sending that message that, you know, it's important that we finish strong, and, you know, we're still evaluating. We're seeing what we need to do. And so, you know, on their side, you know, the numbers count. They're still important to them, and the wins are too. And so we're trying to get whoever's starting that game a win. And for myself, losing stings. Last night, man, I tell you what, that got me because Jonah hit a big home run to tie it, and, you know, thought we had it set up there. And, you know, the back end of their order beat Spores, you know, really good pitcher, and that's what made last night tough. But you got to keep pushing. Because in this game, that's the only choice you got. You know, there's only one way to do things, and that's do it right. So far, I've been happy with how the guys are battling back when we get behind. Last night, had a couple comebacks, and, you know, they're still fighting, and that's important. You know, for me, I know for CY, and really for the players, for each other.
You know, Boch, I don't want to dig too much into the, you know, post of the season evaluation here, but I was kind of curious how badly you feel your team needs to add a bat or maybe two in this lineup in the off season.
Yeah, you know, CY and I were talking about that yesterday before the game. You know, just talking about, you know, the needs and looking at the teams that are heading into postseason, really how offensive they are. Almost across the board there. You know, they're all putting up runs like we did last year, over 800 or in that area. So that's where we fell short. We can look at a lot of things. Sure, we didn't quite play as well and had some injuries and all that. But, you know, bottom line is we didn't score enough. You know, when you're, 200 runs down from in that area about from where you were last year, yeah, that's going to make a difference in the standings for you.
And when it comes to the DH role, do you want to continue? Do you want to have a designated hitter that still is a position player as well, or do you want somebody who, like, you know, if he's going to be the DH, he can do that, and he can be a guy that comes off the bench and hits alone? What's your feeling on that?
Well, my feeling is if you have it on your club, not a strict DH, but, you know, guys that can handle it and can produce from that area. Yeah, because it is a little bit different DH, and it's better to have it that way, I think, because it allows you to rest guys. So, for example, Seager, he can DH. Now you're putting Smitty out there next year if Josh Young's healthy, and Seager and Marcus and Nate. You know, you got to kind of rotate it a little bit to keep guys fresh, and that's something else we've talked about. You know, how to do that, and maybe lighten the load on a couple of guys instead of just running them out in a position to where we can DH. Now, if that's not there, sure, it's nice to. Ohtani. Who wouldn't want that? 50,
sure.
50, come on. So there are some DHs out there that are impact players that just do so much damage. I'm not going to complain about something like that.
Yeah, and then you mentioned him in the conversation there. Have you ever seen a player in your time with Josh Young's talent to have this type of bad luck with injuries?
Man, I can't think of it. Man, I'm going to put Carter in there too.
Yeah,
21 years old, and both of them. That's what's kind of been surprising about their injuries, how young they are. You know, Carter had some earlier injuries in the minor leagues. You know, he's getting stronger, and then you don't want to label them as injury prone at this age, but they are going through a lot. And Josh, what he's gone through is just incredible. You know, and talking to him yesterday, I mean, just started spring training with a calf injury and the second ground ball hit to him. So, you know, we're doing our exit meetings, and you know, we talked about, you know, just coming to spring training. We got some things, you know, we want some of these guys to do to make sure they're ready, and they come in the best shape that they can come in and just do things different.
Now, that last part that you just said might kind of answer my next question, but I was curious with Young, with Carter, with whoever else, how do you balance, like, these are really good players and we need them versus, for whatever reasons, they have gotten hurt, and do we probably need a backup plan just in case? Like, how do you balance that out as a manager?
Well, you have to have depth. In any season for a club, that's going to come into play, the bench. And I look at what Smitty did for us when Young went down. He softened that blow. And you saw what he did the first half. He was talking about being on the All-Star team. And, you know, he's dealing with, you know, some aches and pains, just playing, you know, for a whole season. He's finding out what that's about. So this will be, you know, a good thing for him to adjust on, you know, to have the knowledge of what it takes, you know, to go out there and grind it every day. But I can't tell you how, you know, what a great surprise he's been for us. And so that step, for example, Carter, yeah, we missed him, but, you know, Langford came up and helped, you know, replace that a little bit. So, and in areas we had the depth, and some, you know, the pitching, I think we're missing a little bit, but in that, you know, to your point, we just didn't have anybody that seemed like he put up the numbers you would want from a DH. They just weren't as comfortable. Garcia, for example, you know, doesn't seem to be as comfortable DHing, which kind of surprises me because he's not changing his routine. But part of it is just sitting there and just waiting for your next at bat and looking at the iPads and things. Some guys just handle it better. And I think when you look at some of the good ones, they're experienced guys that, you know, are pinch hitters, and now they're DHing, so they're used to it. And they're able to, you know, control the one at bat, the emotions of the energy that's running through you when you go up there.
You know, Boch, Cody Bradford's an exciting pitcher for us. You know, he's our guy. And it kind of reminds me, Kevin, of Matt Harrison a little bit.
Yeah.
Where he was, you know, he comes up young in there, he sees the role, he takes it on, he looks the role of a starting pitcher, and he's doing his stuff. When he goes up to the mound, what is your comfort level with him whenever you know he's there?
Yeah, we just touched on it, you know, about guys, you know, in this situation, getting themselves up and ready for a game. I can promise you that this guy's already been preparing. You see him walking around with his notes, and if he gets beat, he's not going to beat himself. Arizona, it's not like he went out there not prepared. He, you know, looking back, he would have changed what he did, you know, some things, and that's what's good about. That's what you love about him, and that's what's good about him is the fact that he knows and he learns from hitter to hitter or game to game, and so when he hits that mound, we know we're going to get everything he's got, and a guy that can command the fastball, and he's not going to beat himself.
Now, I know Simeon has a lot of moments at the Coliseum. I believe he was sharing those a little bit with the TV broadcast yesterday. Does that stadium hold some sentimental value to you also?
Yeah, some it does. You know, I'd always been in the National League. Mm-hmm. Really, the Bay Series when I was with the Giants. That's where, you know, I got to spend more games there and really appreciate what they did have, and they still do. We saw it last night. I mean, they're passionate fans. They are. and it's loud in there. It reminds me, I said yesterday, of winter ball a little bit. I played 5 years of winter ball, 3 in Venezuela, 1 in the Dominican, and 1 in Puerto Rico. And those fans are really passionate, they're loud, and so it's not quite a Raiders game, but it's pretty crazy.
Probably not right now since you're in the midst of the season, but at some point I really hope we can get you back on to just tell winter ball stories from those 5 years, because that sounds like that would be amazing.
I loved it. They don't go as much, but it was a way for me, being a role player, to keep my hopefully my skills up a little bit and make some extra money. Back then we didn't get the contracts they have now, so that's what we did. We loved it. Smitty did go down, for example. He went down for a little bit. They started platooning them and not playing them against lefties, so he came back. But, we still send guys down there.
I have no doubt that you guys are focused on this evening's game, but obviously I am curious. Tomorrow will be the last game at the Coliseum. It's expected to be a sellout. There's all kinds of rumblings about, rowdy fans and how crazy it could be. Have y'all been kind of prepped for potentially tomorrow's really crazy atmosphere?
We have. We have had security. Blake, he talked to the guys, and MLB's around, and really the biggest thing we told the players, don't get confrontational. If somebody does storm the field, avoid them. Use your glove or hips. Don't get too close to them. But when the game's over, we're going to head to the clubhouse. There's no hanging around, because you don't know. I don't think there's going to be a lot happening like the rumblings you're hearing, but you don't know. You get that many people, and of course they'll be tailgating and everything. You don't know, but I do know that there's going to be a lot of security. We got Oakland police, San Francisco police, MLB security, so it's ramped up, and you can see it when you walk in the stadium now.
Once the regular season wraps up, if your team obviously this year will not be in the playoffs, do you decompress from baseball and you just need a break, or do you dive in and watch the playoffs intently? How do you wrap up the season?
Yeah, we're kind of doing it a little bit now, just getting thoughts, talking about things that we need to do better, because you don't want time to go by and kind of forget some of the things that happened this year. So that started, but once it's over, I'll watch some playoff games. I may miss some because I'll be spending some time with the family, but I like to look at the strategy, things like that. What I would have done different as I watch these games, because that's experience that you can use. And if you get back in, that's I try to learn from every game. I may pick up something I didn't think of, and that's the playoffs. It's just a different ball game, and I can't tell you how much I miss not going, but still, it's fun to watch, and lots at stake, and there's not really a dominant team.
Yeah,
that's the thing here. So, you're seeing the Dodgers now; they're fighting for their life to keep the division. So it's really a flip a coin on who's going to win the World Series, I think.
But it's totally okay if I tell you that I'll be rooting heavily against the Astros,
yeah,
right?
Definitely.
Yeah, I get that. We all will be.
Well, Boch, before we let you go, it was about middle of the season. You were getting off the phone with us, and my co-host Kevin said, "Go get Rangers."
Oh my
And
God.
every time we've gotten off the phone with you, I go get Rangers. I don't know if you've heard us say that. Did you hear Kevin say go get Rangers in the middle of the season at some point, and did you go, what the hell is he talking about?
No, I didn't hear it. No.
Thank goodness, because I meant to say either go get them or go Rangers. I don't know what happened. People have made shirts for me that say go get Rangers, and I have been mocked
It's our
for the
rallying
rest
cry, yeah.
of the season because of
Yeah,
that.
no, that's funny. I missed it. Yeah.
Well, we're glad to entertain you anytime we can, and obviously we love to talk with you whenever we get the opportunity. Really appreciate the time, good sir.
All right, guys. I know it didn't go like we wanted, but thanks for your patience at times with me and missing a few calls here or there. You guys are great, so thanks for that. And it's always good talking baseball with you.
Yes, absolutely. Sir. Thank you very much. Good
go get
sir.
Rangers.
Okay. All right, go get Rangers. We'll see
all right.
Yes!
No.
Yes, I love it.
No.
That's my manager right there. That is my manager right there. He's awesome.
I agree with that for every other part of the interview, except that last, the way he goes, now that's pretty funny. I was like, oh, man.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Thanks a whole lot for that. But he is awesome. And by the way,
class, as Kill Switch says, Boch is class AF. Yeah, I mean, he absolutely is, man.
He really is. I have not heard that specific phrasing a whole lot, but I appreciate it. And you know what? We talked about it. We might try to reach back out to him and see if he wants to jump on for Peace-a-thon. Maybe we'll give him a Go Get Rangers shirt.
Just hold on to that, Alec, for Friday, because that's winning. That's winning no matter what. Every time we got Boch to say it, dude. That's great.
I am not as enthusiastic as you are about that. But what I did love is when I said, hey, you get it, when I say I'm going to be rooting against the Astros. Right?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah, we're all there with you. So I really appreciate it. And, this is something to take a look at. He said, Bochy, that is, he doesn't anticipate any potential major issues tomorrow, but the Oakland police are there. The San Francisco police are there. The word is it is going to be, or the game is sold out. So tomorrow, when it's going down, I am really curious to see what happens outside of the result of the game and the fact that he said be prepared to use your hips or your glove in case fans run on the field. So they've clearly had these conversations.
It is smart of whoever it is, and I see some people here. They say they're not mad at the players, they're not mad at the team or coaching. They just want to go after the ownership and in that group of it. I get that part of it. But it is smart of Major League Baseball to say, we do got to be prepared. Just let the guys know. Because the worst thing that could happen is they're standing on the field going, what do we do? So like Bochy said, hey, man, game's over. Get out of here. Let them handle hopefully they handle it. They go, all right, this is a time for us to be, celebrate as fans. We're hate it, but we're going to celebrate, next to each other, shoulder and shoulder, not try and rip it all apart.
We're the KNC Masterpiece right here on 105.3 The Fan. And right now, it's time for AM on the FM.
What does this button do? Please, do not push the button. You have no idea what it...
Alec, you be quiet.
Alec, that was awful. 1 for Alec, 0 for Peyton.
Don't you dare touch that dial.
Go get Rangers, baby.
Yes!
I'm so glad that happened. That's going to be immortalized. I guarantee you that's going to be a promo by the end of the week.
Alec.
Thank you, Corey Majors.
From the 214, I literally applauded in my work truck after Bochy said, go get Rangers. From the 817, yes, sir. From the 817, yes. From the 682, he finally said it. Let's effing go.
The Twitch is going nuts, too.
I did not realize that so many people were invested in that, and that laugh's going to haunt me. That is pretty funny.
That was so good. I can't wait to replay that on Friday. Masterpiece of the week. 1:30 right here in the KNC Masterpiece. Just be ready for that. But
should we sell Go Get Ranger shirts for Peace-a-thon?
Yeah,
we should.
I really think we should. Okay. And if not for the general public, just selfishly, because I know specifically, not just me, even my dad, anytime a bit gets printed on a t-shirt, he's like, give it to me.
That's awesome.
Please. I think it was the last Firehouse stop. Somebody made some Sean and RJ t-shirts that said sorry about Bobby. And
yes.
And Ruben gave me one just to give to my dad.
That's great.
Because it was his size. And my dad was like, yes. I love this. So if not for the Tolos, selfishly, we need to get those printed up because I'll buy a few.
Give your dad a fist bump from me, man. He's awesome.
Oh, well, one of these days he's going to wander his way up here. He works 5 minutes away from here and he still never visits.
What's the story?
How rude. Yeah, how rude.
Get Alex's dad.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, it's time for AM on the FM right here in the KNC Masterpiece. We always start with a question of the day. I got some audio for you as always as well, but I'm going to bend the rules a little bit here today of what day of the week it is. I know it's a Wednesday, I think. They all kind of run together, but it's not a Friday. I just want to give a shout out to our buddy Carter Freeman. for no reason other than being a wonderful human. And one of my, outside of work, he's our video operator. If you don't know him, he's one of my closest friends, just like in general.
Yeah.
We spend time outside of work. We talk a lot. When I was running the weekends for a good couple years, he was on like every Saturday during the college football season, just because he knows way more than I will ever know.
Oh my God. Yes.
We love this cliche in sports radio that he's forgotten more things about college football than I'll ever learn.
True.
That's very true with him in regards to my lack of knowledge. So just wanted to shout out him for being a wonderful human. And
he's the best.
I love him. But anyways, the question of the day today, I was going to go more food related again, but then I saw today's international calendar and today's international holiday. International One-Hit Wonder Day.
Oh, like it.
So the question of the day, 877-881-1053. That is the Frankel and Frankel Injury Attorneys text line. Twitch and YouTube want to hear from you as well. What is your favorite one-hit wonder of all time?
All right. So this is going to date me for so many reasons. When the song Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba came out. Okay, look, let's all just objectively agree that song is awesome. All right? I went to the Blockbuster Music, and of course, it was like Christmas. You get Blockbuster gift cards and everything like that. Went to the Blockbuster Music, bought the Chumbawamba album, thinking for certain they would have many other tremendous tunes that I would also enjoy. Didn't find them on that album. I did not find them, so Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba, I believe, is really, really high up on the list.
Kevin, do you know another song by Dexy's Midnight Runners?
No chance.
There's only one song we know, and what is it? It's about Eileen.
Oh, yeah. Poor Eileen.
Poor Eileen.
She's not being treated correctly.
There's also a song called Lucas with the Lid Off. I don't know if anybody's ever heard that song. I loved it back in the day. Anyway. Nina, 99 Luft Balloons.
It's about nuclear war.
Irresponsibly love that song. And then like John Forte he sampled it and did a song with Wyclef Jean. But I've always, and Goldfinger redid it. I've always loved that song, but I've never heard another song from anybody else or from Nina than 99 Luft Balloons. That's it.
All right. This is tough. Because I want to bring up some older people, but maybe the fan text or the YouTuber, well, probably not the YouTuber, the Twitch. Maybe the fan text will be like, the hell they were. What about the Champs? Now, you might be thinking, who the hell is that? In 1958, they came out with the song Tequila, and I had never heard of that band. I had to look up who sang that song because I couldn't remember. I'm going to make the argument that the Champs never had another freaking song in their life that anybody gave a crap about.
Boss man Gavin Spittle texted Alec and he said, oh, dang it, Safety Dance, Men Without Hats.
That is a banger, too.
Yep.
And it can't just be like a pretty good song. You need it to be like, man, that song was freaking huge. But you could still think in your mind, we got to dance.
I can dance if you want to.
Yeah, was nobody else thinking then?
I have a lot that come to mind whenever I think about one-hit wonders because it's amazing how many there truly are out there. I've seen a lot of Return of the Mac come in here on the Frankel and Frankel Injury Attorneys text line. I've seen a few really good ones too. Rock Lobster got texted in.
No.
Get out of here.
The B-52s had more hits than that. Love Shack was huge.
I know they did. I just had to say it because I know that a certain someone does not like that song. So
get out of here with that crap.
Right Said Fred with I'm Too Sexy.
That was a good song.
Yes.
I don't know anything else he's done.
I couldn't tell you one other thing that Right Said Fred ever did.
I've seen this one a number of times, and it's Stay by Lisa Loeb.
And did she not have any other?
I don't know, but I think she's still living off that song. I think she still plays it. She's from the area. I think she's from right around here in DFW. Let me look that up to confirm. And then from the 817, I don't know who the band was, but Scotty doesn't know from Euro Trip. That was a banger song. So much so that when they go into the club, there's an EDM version of it.
Yeah, there is.
Help me out with who sang this.
Scotty.
It's who sang How Bizarre? Do you remember that song?
How bizarre.
Ooh.
How bizarre.
I can't tell you.
Was that OMC?
I think that might actually be right. I have no idea,
so.
but
yeah, it was OMC.
Okay, that's another candidate right there.
Let's see. I had one. If you are a SpongeBob fan, you will know this, Sweet Victory.
Oh, yeah, I do like that
David
song.
Glenn Isley.
Okay.
That's a fantastic one.
I'm conflicted because I have one, and I'm going to bring it up, and I think they might be local. I think this song is super catchy, but one of the dumbest songs that's ever been made. It's the band Deep Blue Something in the song Breakfast at Tiffany's.
I love that song.
It is an objectively catchy song. That song is so stupid. It's about these two people.
Great.
Look, do I know a lot of the words? Maybe all the words? Fair point. But it's about these two people that are going to break up because they're clearly wrong for each other. And they're like, hey, what about the movie Breakfast at Tiffany's? And the other one's like, I kind of remember that movie, but not totally. And the other one's like, yeah, me too. I kind of like it. As if they're both going to get back together for a movie that they kind of sort of like. Stupid. It is catchy as hell, but it's dumb.
Teenage Dirtbag by Wheatus, which has kind of made a little bit of a comeback. Lou Bega's Mambo No. 5
yes.
Was very catchy for a period of time for Aha's Take on Me.
Was Aha a one-hit wonder? I don't know
any other songs by them, but have you ever heard the acoustic version of that?
The acoustic is awesome.
Amazing.
I love it.
That dude,
I don't think so.
That dude
he was in the Deadpool movie.
Sing.
I think the first Deadpool.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Then yes, I did.
It's so good.
And Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen. If you don't remember, that thing hit so big. And then the Dolphins cheerleaders were like, hey, let's do this as a video. And it got even bigger than that.
Okay, two more options. Obviously, I'm fired off a lot of 90s stuff. I realize that because that's immediately what I think of. Sex and Candy by Marcy Playground and Bittersweet Symphony by The Verve.
Yes.
And that dude, by the way, if you
so
see him on TikTok, that dude, he will sing that song everywhere. Every time he sees somebody singing it, he'll go sing it with them. He tries to sing it to police officers to get out of tickets. Like, he's still vibing off of that one.
Those are the two. Does this count? I think he had like a couple mid-range hits like Ninja Rap, but I've seen multiple people text in Ice Ice Baby. It's there from the 214, from the 682. I like Teenage Ninja Turtles too, even though it's stupid. And he sings Ninja Rap in there. And I think that song was kind of a hit. So I don't know if that counts.
Somebody texted in Gangnam Style, and then somebody texted in Who Let the Dogs Out. Which one of those was a bigger, like, I think it was Gangnam Style because of the YouTube appeal. Whenever Who Let the Dogs Out was just kind of an MTV thing back then.
Gangnam Style is the second most watched video in the history of YouTube.
Which is ridiculous. Yeah, I'm sorry, it has no business being that viewed.
Disagree. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm about to take over part of your segment here. I am somebody whose little child loves Gangnam Style. Not as much as he loves Baby Shark, the most viewed video on YouTube. But I've watched Gangnam Style. That song is excellent with the video, and I'll tell you why. You watch that video, Psy is struggling looking for the perfect dance partner. He looks everywhere. The beach, the elevator, a parking garage for some reason, and finally on the subway, he finds the perfect dance partner. It is delightful.
Kevin from the 361. I went to high school at Plano Senior High with Scott McClewitz, who was the main character in Euro Trip, who played Scotty from the Scotty Doesn't Know song. I went and looked it up, and he did graduate from Plano Senior High in 1999 before going to the University of Texas and then moving to LA. So yeah, that dude went to Plano Senior High, where my kid's going to be going. That's going to happen.
Okay, that's awesome. And then, sorry, Alec, from the 817, you really don't know Tarzan Boy by Baltimora?
Yep.
On the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 soundtrack. Didn't think I'd be able to get two of those references in. No. I do like that song.
Let's see, last one from the 682, the Old Town Road song by Lil Nas X. Yep, have not heard from him outside of outrageous outfits at award shows. Like, that's the only reason he's popped up on my social media feeds. Other than that, I've not heard from him. It's still a banger. I will give him that. But I do want to play this sound. My favorite thing that comes from the NFL season is mic'd up moments across the league, in-game stuff, on the sidelines. I know the Cowboys do a great job with it specifically, but I'm not trying to give them any love or anything, but the Eagles put out one this past week against the Saints. There is one player on that team that I don't care who he ever plays for. I will always love him. His name is Jordan Mailata, and he is a starting offensive lineman that got paid, and he can sing. If you didn't know, from behind, and all of his running back, and all of his running back teammates come up and they're like, "Boy, you are slow as bleep. What is wrong with you? Why did you get caught? You should have scored there." And Dallas Goedert got caught by a DV, and he was like, "Oh, it's the trailer. Why are you so slow?" This is so funny. I love mic'd up moments.
Unbelievable. That was a very fun edition of AM on the FM. I'm sure you had more planned, but we just kind of
And guess what? We got tomorrow.
There you go. We're the KNC Masterpiece right here on 105.3 The Fan. Coming up next, it's time for the C Block starring Corey Majors.
Are these celebrations the best celebrations and maybe even more? Next on The Fan.
The boys are in Jersey this week to take on the G-Men.
It's true that you've got to forget something else to remember that Uber Eats has groceries.
No, that's absurd. Hey, remember when you used to be a, what was it, Pepper Lady? Pepper Lady?
Wasn't it Cinnamon Sisters?
Basil Babes.
Saffron Squad?
Nutmeg Maidens?
Pre-curb?
No.
Nutmeg Maidens.
I just said that. Was it Spice Girls?
Doesn't sound right.
What was it, Saffron Squad?